50th year as far as being a pharmacist. I'm on my 49th year. I'm a registered pharmacist in Georgia. And I have a spouse that she's been a diabetic since she was 45 years old. And I have my first sibling, she's like a type 1. And so she's insulin dependent. And so the lived experience with diabetes, yes, I lived that experience. I myself, I have an underlying chronic condition. I have multiple sclerosis. And so, as far as it goes, when I go down to the multiple sclerosis center, when I see all the people who are on wheelchairs or in wheelchairs, the ones who are walking around with canes, the ones who are blind, the ones who are hobbling, I'm very aggressive about taking care of myself. I've been diagnosed for 17 years. My wife's been diagnosed for 45 years. I'm 72 this month in a few days. My wife is the same age I am, but I'm not telling you what my wife's age is. Anyway, what do we do during the holidays? Because what has happened is that for my background, I have a twin brother who's had bypass surgery. That was about 10 years ago now. I have an older brother who has 2 stents in his heart. And I myself have sometimes approached that number, that little magic number that you all know to be 100 on a fasting blood sugar. And then your doctor says, we got something going on here. And then you get flagged on your labs and you say, what am I going to have to pay attention to? A lot of times I tell people maybe the ABCs of diabetes management might be the way to kind of remember that kind of thing, because a lot of people have been diagnosed with their A1Cs. And then along the way, as far as paying attention to A1C, your blood pressure, and your cholesterol, because all those things kind of factor in as far as where am I with my diabetes management. I have potentially, I could be type 2 diabetic. I could be. But I hope that today you learn to love yourself. And so that my presentation is about love. Give love on Christmas Day. And I want you to be upbeat and kind of follow me right along, because what I want to do is, as far as our learning objectives this morning, realizing that I want you to understand the diabetes ADCES 7 self-care behaviors. I want you to also connect your self-care with love and community. I want you to apply the biblical wisdom. Anybody that knows their Bible about 1 Corinthians 13, you know that's the love chapter. And I want you to embrace the power of giving love to yourself. I want it to be upbeat because I want you to imagine a day that you don't have all the annoyances of having to manage diabetes. What does that look like? Or at least you have it under control. The beauty of our lives is that we have the imagination to look forward and see something else other than the overall stresses that go along with diabetes. We know what stress feels like. It's a daily occurrence. Is that fight or flight, or where we want to run or we want to fight or we want to freeze? But all that really runs up our blood sugars. And so what's happening with this diabetes, it creates all kinds of stressors in us. Those stressors, when we do and get all those stress hormones, all of our blood sugars go off the rails, things get out of control. And one thing I do know is that right now, my wife is probably going to get a little bit more stressed as we prepare for the holidays, because what's going to happen is that we are going to put a cooperative dinner and together, and everybody in family going to get together, and everybody's going to be pulling together those dishes, and everybody's got to bring all of that perfection, because we have a huge gathering for the Christmas holidays. How about you? I wish I could see you, because then I could read the room and then I could get a feel for who you are. Because one thing I do know, the whole idea about navigating through the holidays is stressful. The daughter's coming in town, the out-of-towners are coming in town, people are coming, you have to go over, and I don't have anybody coming in on the airport, but I've got to go pick people, make sure that things get picked up, food get picked up, preparing the bedrooms and everything, because my daughter, the dogs, and her husband and the child, all of them are coming, along with all the other visitations. I want you to commit to action to develop a personal, at the bottom of this particular I want you to develop personal and a team strategy to practice your daily behaviors as far as managing your diabetes. Diabetes is every day you have to get up and think about it, what you're going to do with it, and what you will not be able to do. This part right here, as far as it goes, I would hope that it's not going to, I don't know if it's going to work or not. I guess in the transference of it, I was going to have the Michael Jackson song "Give Love on Christmas Day" to yourself. I like that song. I was going to have it to go ahead and run, but I'm not sure exactly how to apply that in this platform. And if you're like me, uh, I'm not technologically savvy. Like I said, I'll be 72 at the end of this month. And so I started where it didn't have a lot of technology, but I would love to just say to give love on Christmas Day. And I want you to do that for yourself. As you walk through these days of stressing over the holidays, I want you to de stress. I want you to also imagine what it's like to have everything under control. And so let me see, we'll just advance to the next. I want you to be patient with yourself. I want to be patient with you. I want you to be kind to yourself. I'll be kind to you. I want you to also be supportive with yourself and with others and with no judgment. I want us to have a better attitude towards this Christmas. I think that a lot of times what I do in the morning is I have a ritual. First thing I do in the morning, I get up, I look outside, and I see the sun rising. I'm thankful, I'm grateful for that day when I look out and I see the sun rising. How about you? When you get up, do you have a ritual? The next thing I do is I go and I read a daily bread. Well, really, I have it on my phone. And so I'll have some scripture and I'll read it with my wife. Because before I turn on the news, before I turn on all the stresses of the day, before I turn on all of these things that people are saying going on in the world and all the hurt and the pain that's going on, I try to focus on something that will lift me up. How about you? My Christmas love language is this: embracing self love and grace. I define my love for myself through patience. I'm kind to myself and I'm unwavering in my support. Remember, I also have a chronic condition as well. And I support myself on a day to day basis. Many a day I get up, I'll do a 5K on the treadmill, which is 3.1 miles. I'll do that. I just finished a marathon in May. Think of that. I was 71 and I did a marathon. Also, I do exercise as medicine for myself. How about you? Because what you have to do, you have to have a focus of what it is that you're going to do today that's going to help improve or at least stabilize your condition. The ADC has 7 self-care behaviors. And so diabetes self-management is just that. You can take a class. But the thing is, when this particular class, when I would teach that, it has 7 self-care behaviors. I want you to see the part where it says actionable love language to yourself. It's not a list of rules of what you got to do. You can skip them, but you can also love them, and then you can apply them so that they apply to your life. You start improving on your condition. It's a daily management of your diabetes. While we're at the holidays, on my last point, I acknowledge that the holidays are challenging, and I want you to choose grace over guilt of yourself, because there's going to be some things that I'm going to make some mistakes during these holidays as far as management. I probably won't bring something into the kitchen right. I might mess up a meal, or I might say the wrong name at a gathering, at a family gathering. I don't know. But I'm going to issue some grace to myself, and I'm not going to feel too guilty about some things that might go wrong. I chose the scripture as far as 1 Corinthians 13, and I tried to frame it around these 7 behaviors that we have in diabetes management, because these are things you have to pay attention to on a day-to-day basis. I want you to have healthy eating is one of those things. Healthy eating, I want you to choose the foods that love me. A lot of times people don't know what food is, and they don't know exactly how to choose what type of food to use. They have different little websites, myplay.gov. And like I said, I come out of a era where there was not computers around, and now all of a sudden I have everything right at my fingertip. If I go to some of these websites, myplate.gov, all I have to do is they'll show me exactly how to set my plate up. That's a healthy plate. That's it. It's so easy. There's also things that are culturally sensitive that you can go to different websites that are culturally sensitive to the way you like to eat, and you can find those, and then you can also equate that back to my plate, and then you can realize this is a healthy plate or some of these things on my plate are not healthy. I always talk to myself. I give myself a lot of positive affirmations. My self-talk, and I said my second bullet point, I deserve to feel good. I deserve that. I can enjoy a taste of my favorite treats in moderation without guilt, and I will choose balance over perfection. Thing is, there is no diabetic diet. There's no way that really the diabetic eats. But notice that part where we do things in moderation, or if we kind of control the intake. It's all about, well, why do we eat? We eat so we can have energy. That's what it's about. But we can also eat a variety of things. We enjoy food. I do. How about you? What I want to do is your goal, I want it to be that you mindfully portion your plate, focusing on the delicious, healthy options that's available to you. That's it. Everybody have their own favorite dishes. When you get there at that dinner, that is going to be things that you really like. But remember, you can portion out how much applies to you. You know what really tips your scale. You know what goes and makes your blood sugars run out. And then what they do, we have a lot of different tools that we can do to control that. Another thing is about being active. While we can do that, I want you to move your body with joy and then with kindness. And once again, applying back to the love chapter in 1 Corinthians 13, my body deserves active love and care. You need to care for your body. The mind, body, and spirit, you need to take care of every part of you. So I say I am patient with my physical abilities. I have limitations. There are some things I can do. There are some things I can't do. As far as exercise, there are some exercises I can do. There are some I can't do. There are people that can out exercise me every day of the week, and there are some that I can exceed what they do. I try to focus on what I'm capable of doing. My self-talk, movement is a gift to my health, not a punishment for eating. I will walk with my family, my friends, because I love myself. Right after that holiday dinner, right before you can do, or you can take a walk anyway and just talk, converse, get out in the sun. Just movement creates endorphins and make you feel better. Exercise is medicine. I love to exercise myself because it doesn't feel good when I first start, but I feel so much better when I'm finished or when I'm into it. How about you? This is These are just facts. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can use that as different little things that you can work into your daily routines that will make you feel better. Because this talk is about that. Love yourself. My goal is incorporating fun movement into my day, even if it's just a short walk, dancing to music. And in my case, I get up every morning. Most mornings. I can't say every morning. And lately, I haven't been able to do it as much as I would like to. But I go over to the senior center and I play pickleball. I know that's kind of crazy. What pickleball? What is that? For some people, they don't even know what it is. But it's so much fun. I laugh a lot. We play. I get beat a lot. But I am having a ball. Now, pickleball is not for everybody because you can fall if you're not careful. And so I would say, in any exercise, any movement, check with your doctor. See if that works for you. Because we're doing things, the whole thing about body movement, it controls your blood sugars. It makes you have adequate amounts of blood sugar. It also, at the same time, it lowers your stress levels. We started with the idea that it may be too stressful, a lot of things that happen. And so you start your day de-stressing or setting yourself up for the daily stresses of that day so you don't run your blood sugars out of control. I sometimes walk behind the lawnmower. How about you? Some of you all clean your house. Do you look at it as being work, or do you look at it as being an opportunity to go ahead and get some movement in and help your body to adjust, stabilize, so you can sleep better? And speaking of sleep, please get your sleep. That's one of the new norms. And diabetes and those people who are night owls, they have scientific evidence that directly correlates with high blood sugars and also the potential of developing type 2 diabetes by staying up and not getting adequate amounts of sleep. Monitoring. Once again, I'm attentive and observant. Attentive and observant of what? I'm going back to the love chapter again. I'm attentive to my body's signals. I use monitoring as information and it's not judgment. The new norms, and I check with the diabetes care. They have the new standards of care for diabetes for 2026 just came out. As far as blood pressure, is still 130 over 80. If you have blood pressure control, you want to keep it under 130 over 80. If you potentially it could be an incident. Or your doctor may give you a little bit more leniency if there's something that's going on and your doctor says, you know what, I need to let you have a little bit of a higher blood pressure. But these are just goals. These are standards of what needs to be. It's already been proven that these standards work for you. These standards are proven, evidence-based, that if you keep these numbers going on, that you will have a better outcome as far as managing your diabetes. Your self-talk. And one other thing too about monitoring, I would say some of the simple things that we can monitor is one of them is our blood pressure. If you don't have a monitor at home and a blood pressure and a target that you and your doctor have discussed, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to pay attention to what your blood pressure is. Well, why? Because the number one malady that's associated is the cardiovascular health, or what we say our heart and circulatory health. It's really so important to maintain good health in that area. And a blood pressure reading is a good indicator of whether we're really managing that pressure that can do so much damage to all the organs in our bodies while we're trying to manage diabetes. That's what part of paying attention to what we're as far as monitoring goes. You can also monitor your blood sugars. There's a range. A lot of people are now on what they call CGMs, or what we call continuous glucose monitors. That's really like real time, where you're getting a constant readout of what your blood sugar levels are throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the period. As long as you have that sensor on there, which is about 2 weeks, it'll give constant readings. And with those constant readings, you can begin to see patterns of what you're doing, when you're eating, how it's affecting you, when you're sitting down, how that's affecting you, how your blood sugars are running overnight, even when you're sleeping. It's constantly, it's like just running a movie about what's happening with your blood sugar constantly. Those devices do not cost that much. It probably is covered on your insurance. You can always, if you don't have one, I assure you, when I had my wife put on a CGM a few years ago, it was a game changer. If you don't have one of those, you need to look at that, talk with your doctor about that, and go ahead and work that in as one of the tools that you can use just to control and monitor your blood sugars. Your goal overall is to start monitoring, paying attention to some of those numbers that are important that you can control yourself. You can monitor your own blood sugars. You can monitor your own blood pressure, and you can do a lot that will benefit your health during the holidays, after the holidays, and throughout your health and lifespan. My goal is regularly checking my blood glucose and blood pressure and responding to the results with action and not shame. Don't say, I failed. You didn't fail. You didn't fail. I make errors all the time. But I also think about where that error started, why I have that error, and then I try to make adjustments to not have that error again. Some things you really need to pay attention to. And those two, as far as blood sugar, range, where you are, your blood pressure, pay attention to those. Taking medication, I'm a pharmacist. I trust to myself, prioritize my health, and adhere to my plan. The plan is between you and your physician. Look, I know that you may not like taking medications, but a lot of these medications will help you bridge that part where our bodies have changed. We have another day that's a little different from those earlier days when we were younger. We didn't have high blood pressure. We didn't have high blood sugar levels. Those things didn't exist then. We had control. Now we have to have some help. We have medications that will be incorporated. We have to have access to those medications. So first thing I would say that make sure that you and your physician talk about things that you can have access to. Because I know that we're also having some disruption as far as insurances and things like that. So we may have to have those discussions about what are other options that we can have now to manage this condition of what we call our diabetes, because it is a personal journey. It's not something you have to live with and say, I can't get beyond it. You can have diabetes and be very healthy at the same time, but you have to incorporate those decisions, those particular habits that's going to help you. So my self-talk, I take my medication because I value my long-term health. I am responsible and reliable in caring for myself, loving me. And what's my goal? Sticking to my medication schedule, even when traveling or busy, using reminders if I need to. Problem solving is just that. One of the things that's in a diabetes education series is about how do you solve problems? Because daily, there's a number of things we have to make decisions about, inclusive of just what am I going to eat today? One thing about it, if you have, like we talked about monitoring, if you have a continuous glucose monitor, if you start eating and then you start seeing certain patterns after you eat certain types of foods in certain orders, you might want to look at, maybe I need to taper that. Maybe I need to slow down. Maybe I need to take some of these carbs out. Maybe I need to take juice off my breakfast menu. Or maybe I need to not have an 8-ounce glass of juice, but maybe 2 ounces. You can have a talk with your physician about that. You can have a talk with a dietitian about those type of things. You can make adjustments because that CGM, if you have one, a continuous glucose monitor, or if you're having that little snapshot where you have the glucose monitor that tells you what's your blood sugar right there, you can make decisions based on patterns, the way things change. You want to stay in range. You've got to have a certain amount of sugar, but you do want to stay in range. Your self-talk should be, I'm capable of figuring this thing out. If I encounter a food I can't eat, I'll find graceful alternatives. I have options. And there's always another choice. What's your goal? Having a plan B for social situations that might not be diabetes friendly. Just a plan B. There's always another way of looking at it. As long as you keep your mind in a mindset of positivity that I can solve this problem, always moving your mindset to a positivity that I can solve this problem. Talking with your diabetes care team, all of these people that's around you that support you, all the family and the friends that can support you, that can be helpful to you and also improve your health. Reducing risk. Some of the risk that goes with managing diabetes might be something as simple as, and I have to read that first part, says, I protect my future self. We just came out of a pandemic not long ago. A lot of us managed that. Some of us gained weight. Some of us became frustrated. Some of us became feeling lonely while managing that. Some of us didn't do as well as we had been doing before the pandemic. If we lived and got through it, great. God is good and we were able to get through it. We had friends that also possibly passed because of it. We have some ideas about vaccines even now that's being stirred up about what's good, what's not, what doesn't work, what does work. Diabetics, your immune system is affected by your diabetes. Flu shot, I got mine out the way. How about you? Pneumonia, are you covered? I am. How about your Hep B? Did you do that vaccine? I did. How about your COVID? Did they suggest that you have another booster? I did. How about you? We can have our ideas about it, but I think that what we have to do is be mindful of the fact that there is some validity to science, that we can pay attention to things that are around us and we can question things as we go. And I think that we really need to walk into this future as we go, question, is it true what that's being said? That's it, because a lot of what's said in a diabetes education class is evidence-based, meaning that the science has proved it out that it is a great idea to do it or pay attention to this particular number or whatever. It's evidence-based. So I protect my well-being and I safeguard my health with wise choices. My self-talk, I reduce my risk because I deeply value my body and the future. I choose comfortable shoes for walking and I stay hydrated. Your body is 60% water. A lot of times you don't like water. Find a way of being able to embrace getting proper hydration, because this is part of being healthy. And a large percentage of your body, more than half of your body, is water. You need hydration. You go making choices today that prevent complications tomorrow. Those vaccines that we have to have, those flu shots that we have to have, those things are necessary to keep us from getting extremely ill. Because one thing we don't want is one more thing to have to manage. Why in the world I take shots? I have to take shots 3 times a week. I do not like it. That's the way I manage my multiple sclerosis. I do my exercise so I can avoid being a type 2 diabetic. I could potentially be one. It's easy. It's in my genetic. My daddy was a diabetic. I am sure my mother was as well, but she never was diagnosed. My mother passed on at 70 years of age. I've outlived my mother. But the fact is that we need to make sure that we're looking at how to take care of our future self, because you can imagine what your future self you want it to be like. If you don't pay attention to some of the things, and it's not warnings, it's not fear that they're creating, they're really just trying to advise you, because you don't have to take anybody's advice at all. But it's to your advantage to consider whether they're telling you something that might be helpful to you, and also to get those preventive things out of the way. Going in for those regular checkups, having your feet checked when you go to the doctor's office, making sure you don't have sores that don't heal, paying attention and getting enough water and hydration, because dialysis is a real thing. Yes, and my sister-in-law is now a new dialysis patient only a few months ago because of diabetes. You can lose those nice kidneys that you have. It can happen. I would love to say that you can also walk it back and get your kidneys, those same kidneys back healthy. Well, after a certain point, dialysis is going to be, and you're not going to get, you unless you can get a transplant. At my age, I don't think they're going to transplant anything. And so you have to be mindful of where you are in this overall spectrum or whatever of what we call life. So reduce your risk, be hydrated, stay hydrated, use the right kind of fluids, watch the alcohol, don't smoke cigarettes, and your goal is to make choices that prevent complications tomorrow. You have to look for your future self. Have a vision. What do you want tomorrow to look like in your future self? What's the miracle question? What does it look like when you're managing everything? Because you have the ability to imagine what it looks like when things are going well. Healthy coping. Diabetes is very, very stressful. When people are stressful, your muscles tense up, your lower back hurts, your neck hurts, your jaw, your shoulders, you get a headache, you become very irritable with everybody. Well, not everybody, with some family members. Sometimes have problems at the job, co-workers. You feel completely worn out, drained. You don't have enough energy to get through things. And that's all a lot of that is because of stress. The body mind connection of the way that we think and process information, because it is about processing the reality of what's going on right there in front of us. It's it depends on the way you look at it. We call it perspective. You can try to have a positive perspective of it, or you can have a very negative perspective about it. And each one of those will affect your body differently. I know that grieving, I think that this time of the year for some people is very difficult because at some people's table this year, some people may be missing. That's hard. But I would suggest that, well, what would be the smart thing to do, the positive thing to do? Make sure that you get around other people. Make sure that you don't let that little blue feeling keep you in the dumps and feeling blue about it. Go get with some other people. Go play some cards. Go walking with a friend. I don't particularly like social media. I don't do it that much. But sometimes even at that, you can just, with a limited number of people that you reach out to, you can post to a friend and find out what they're doing. They can find out what you're doing, and it can help also lift your spirits if you're confined to something like social media. But I say use that with some degree of caution, because there's a lot that's associated with the idea of even social media. But I do want you to have what we call healthy coping, because as it says, I offer myself grace and understanding. I am patient. I'm kind to myself. I do not keep a record of the wrongs or food slips. In other words, if I mess up, here's something I know about me. How about you? If I stay up beyond the 10:30 or 11 o'clock hour, I begin to eat again. I know that's really strange, but I know that I'll start binge eating. Don't even talk about when it turns almost close to midnight. I don't stay up close to midnight, because one thing I do know is that for all the chemistry that's going on in my body and all the circadian rhythm that's going on with my body begins to start looking towards food as being something to have some type of comfort with that. I need to interact with that food now. Let me go to the refrigerator, and there I go. And then I began my binge of starting to eat. And sometimes it's almost like I can't, it's almost like I can't almost control myself. And the ice cream box comes out, and all the other little nuance and all the little comfort foods come out. And then I sit there, and then I'm mind numbing TV. And the next thing I know, I've eaten a ton of calories. Now, for me, it's not punishment, because the next day I'll try to adjust my behavior. I'll try to definitely will put in my 5K that next morning or something, or I'll go play some pickleball. I might play 3, 4, 5 matches. I don't know. I'm going to kind of get busy moving my body around, because I know that I have done something that needs to have some adjustments, because my blood sugars are going to be high for a period of time. So I'm patient with myself. And if I have a slip, I slipped. But my self-talk is this: it's okay to feel stressed during the holidays. I know the holidays are going to be stressful. If I slip, I don't despair. I'll just reset. I'll get back on the track immediately, and I deserve to give myself some grace. My focus is on joy and connection. I'll be allowing mixed feelings without guilt, and I'll practice self-forgiveness. And a lot of times, don't hold it against yourself so long that, oh, I'm a failure. I'm not sure if I can do this thing. Everybody else seems to be doing so much better than I am as far as managing their diabetes. Reach out. You might want to talk with your doctor, or you might want to talk with somebody else that assists you with your diabetes, and come up with some other options. Remember, we just talked about problem solving. You just got to try something new. You've got to incorporate a new idea. You've got to do something different. As they say, what's insanity? Continually doing the same thing and expecting different results. Do something different. Do something that makes some sense. Do something even within your imagination that you can do, because there are a number of options, ideas that can make a difference as far as your health and your healthy coping. So we're getting close to a conclusion about this. We've looked at the whole idea, and a lot of times I'll start even in a diabetes self-management class, I'll start with the idea about healthy coping, because the mind-body connection is just that. What we think, we get a lot of different results in our body because of that. And what we want to do is try to create healthy environment for our thinking so that we can begin to walk through these different challenges of managing the diabetes, challenges of managing daily life, and then incorporating some plans that work and ultimately results in better health for ourselves. We know that our hearts are very important. Not managing the way we manage stress and our blood sugars can affect our hearts significantly. We've got Heart Health Month will be in February. They'll probably be starting things up and saying, well, let's go red for the heart. And you're going to hear a lot of attention about the heart. The thing is about the heart, we need to pay attention to that mostly daily, because once the heart doesn't work right, it cascades that all the organ systems just can't do right. It's hard, and we have to pay attention. No smoking, if at all possible. If we were probably in a new day, I think that smoking would be banned. Why do I get on smoking? Because I have seen the ravages of what smoking has done in my family as well as in my wife's family, just alone. Not even talking about getting outside of that. It's very damaging to our systems overall. Alcohol consumption, the holidays getting ready. We're going to get into those holidays, and a lot of people are going to overindulge, be it because of trying to manage the stress and manage themselves through the holidays. One way or another, try to see if you can get to where you can manage that in a way that it is healthy. One drink for women, two drinks for men. That's it. There are limitations, and the American Diabetes Association has addressed all of those particular problems. And in the new standards of care, they will have in there exactly how much, as far as alcohol, why you need to get your sleep, what type of medications are working for you. And also, don't forget the fact that a lot of times when it comes to type 2 diabetes, we're really talking about how much weight are we carrying, because it's evidence-based. If we can do like about 5, 7, and especially 10% weight loss, which means if we can just get a few pounds off per 100 pounds, 5 pounds for every 100 pounds, for every 7 pounds, just 7 pounds, 10, 14 pounds. If you use 14 to 20 pounds anytime, you will see all the numbers associated with your diabetes to get better. All the labs automatically get better. You will feel better. And I know we have a lot of new medications that are out there, what people call the GLP-1s. Those, with Ozempic being one of the names as far as it goes, and everybody knows about that because there was a serious shortage of Ozempic. Because for all you diabetics, you probably remember you couldn't get your hands on your diabetes medicine because everybody was trying to lose weight. Well, now we got a lot of those weight loss GLP and GIP that will help control and also get some of that extra weight off of us. Extra weight off of us makes it easier on the body. The skeletal system operates better. The muscular system will be stronger as a result of it. And you'll have better connections overall as far as the muscles and the skeletal system. And you'll be able to move better. I saw a gentleman that I can't use any names, but I assure you, he plays pickleball, and he got on one of those weight loss GLP-1s, and he moves so much better, so much faster. It's so much easier for him to move. And so there can be places where we can improve upon, and you know some of those things that you can do. You have to watch your self-talk. How are you talking to yourself? A lot of times they call it automatically negative thoughts or ants. A lot of people will automatically start with the negative about what it is, how they're doing, and it would be better for you to start in positive with thinking about what you can do to improve your numbers. Some of those simple things that you can work in is de-stress, taking a walk, going outside, letting some sunlight get into your eyes. That can be, as far as it'll make you feel better. There's a lot of things that can be done that does not require any additional dollars and cents out of it. Just doesn't. But yet, it's proven fact that the body will operate better under those kind of conditions. So you do need to get outside, get some fresh air, go out there and do some gardening, take a walk with a friend. Maybe after that meal, after we finish that meal, and don't compete with anybody. I used to compete with people to see how much we could eat. I usually could beat a lot of folks, but I realized that I can't do that anymore. I can't win the contest because it's just too much. My system does not allow me to be able to take in that much food anymore without feeling it. But when I was younger, it was easy. So, what you want to do, practice self-love through action. I am ensuring a healthy, happy holiday season. I'm in charge of my healthy journey. I'm supported by my own inner kindness and strength. I choose to love myself well this Christmas. And I wish I could sing because I would do the Donny Hathaway version of This Christmas, but I can't sing, and that's why they don't have me in the choir anywhere. But let's advance to the next thing. I did take some information from a dietitian, and I asked that she give me some ideas that I could basically read. And if you can't read your screen, I'll read it for you because it's about getting a game plan. So it reads like this: a healthy holiday eating tips to stay on track this season. And she's a doctor of nutrition and functionality, and also she's a dietitian. And so these are some tips she came up with and gave those to me, and I'm going to share those with you. It's that time of the year again. You know, the holidays, that blur between Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day, when well-intentioned dreams of dietary moderation die. I get it. I understand it can be difficult to stick to healthy holiday eating plans when all those delicious goodies seem to be calling your name. From the mac and cheese to the pies, to the dressing, to the Christmas cookies, temptations abound. Don't stress. Here's some simple tips to help you navigate the path of healthy holiday eating. Number one, get a game plan. Planning is the key to healthy holiday eating. Having strategy can decrease the stress of worrying that you messed up your diet. Decide ahead of time how you are going to approach a holiday meal. Don't make a game time decision while you are standing in front of the buffet spread. This will only lead to impulse choices. Tip number two, budget, budget, budget. Treat your calories like a bank account. Overdraft charges and fees are no fun when it comes to your money. The same is true with calories. Just like you plan and save to afford things you want to buy, you can use these same skills to budget your calories throughout the holidays. If you know there will be a holiday party at work, then consider having a lighter dinner at home that evening. If you know you will be eating at multiple relatives' homes on Thanksgiving Day, only make a small plate at each location. Number three, choose worthy indulgences. Creating room for indulgences is an important part of healthy holiday eating. Make sure you plan to incorporate holiday favorites you truly enjoy. Sometimes dishes can be lightened up a bit by decreasing butter or sugar, but some original recipes are too good to tamper with. If grandma's famous cheesecake is one of your favorite holiday traditions, then eat it and don't feel bad about it. The strategy is to choose goodies that are actually worth the extra calories. Now, you can experience all the warm and fuzzy feel good memories without the guilt. Number four, mind your beverages. Don't forget that calories from beverages can really add up. Keeping tabs on your drink calories or a healthy holiday eating must. All the sugar in apple cider, juice, and sweet tea pile up more calories on top of the rich, calorie dense food we already enjoy at holiday time. Alcohol is no exception. Alcohol has calories all by itself, but those calories can skyrocket when you mix in juice, soda, or eggnog. Fifth tip, focus on family. The holidays are about spending time with family and friends. Focus on enjoying the company of others instead of figuring out how to beat last year's record for how much you can fit on your plate. Reconnect, laugh, and commune. Listen to your uncle's stories, even though you've already heard the same ones a million times. Spending time and conversing with our loved ones can refocus our attention away from all the food in the kitchen. There's going to be a quiz at the end of this, so I just want you all to be ready. You thought that you were going to get through this without a test, but I must tell you there's going to be a test. This is where I was going to be able to play the music because if I was on the platform that I could, but I don't know how to use this platform to make it play. But it was going to be the Jackson 5, you know, Give Love on Christmas Day. I like that selection, but we're not going to be able to hear that. But I'm going to give you a test, though, and here's the quiz. Okay, here's your first question out of 5. And you can just write that down, or you can just send it in, or you can send it in to Ashley. What is one effective way to manage stress during the holidays if you have diabetes? Drinking more caffeinated beverages, avoiding all social gatherings, skipping meals to save time, or the fourth answer, practicing deep breathing or short walks. Submit your answer. Like I said, you got a quiz here. And in actuality, what I want you to do is enjoy the holidays. We're not going to have a quiz. But what I want you to do is, in conclusion, is love yourself during these holidays. You can start with 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter. And you can do a lot to love yourself. Instead of looking at this, a lot of do's and don'ts, please embrace you. You're most important. There's a team that will support you in every way with your diabetes journey. And it is a journey, it's your own personal journey. But you have to be mindful that within a personal journey, you also hold a map in your hands. You know which direction you and the destination where you want to go, and you want to be healthy. And all I'm asking you to do is practice more self-love as you go through this journey of managing your diabetes. I think we have time for maybe some questions, Q&A. And otherwise, Merry Christmas to everyone. We're approaching the hour. Ashley? Okay. Okay.
There are 2 questions. First one, Dr. Midha, or I just don't want to butcher it, but Dr. M asked, do you recommend having a CGM if you have pre-diabetes?
Okay. Yes, because In actuality, they already have those on the market. You can go into the pharmacy and pick those up as well. It does not require that you have the intervention of your physician now. They have continuous glucose monitors that you can literally, it won't be as equipped as the ones that the diabetic even uses, but pre-diabetes is just that. You probably can get one of those that all the diabetics will be using, Libre. You can probably get one of those easily and also get it on your insurance. But absolutely, because that data, those little data points tells you something about what you're doing. It'll tell you about your eating. It'll tell you how well your medicine is working. It'll tell you whether your sleep is working. When you're working on things, you're trying to stay within a range as far as your blood sugars. It's not too high and it's not too low. Somewhere between 70 and 180 is usually is preset on those continuous glucose monitors. And yes, if you can find a way of adjusting all your behaviors, applying all those principles of what it takes to manage this, yes, you will be healthier. And yes, a CGM is, I recommend it wholeheartedly.
Okay, thank you. And next question. Um, what does AD, well, Dr. M had another comment. I don't think it's a question, but she says practicing deep breathing and short walks. I think we.
Okay, deep breathing and short walks in and of itself. So that goes back to the quiz that didn't happen. But
Okay.
that was one of the answers, and that was the answer to the quiz. And that's true. And so in actuality, that's just a de-stressor. There are a number of websites even, and also you can always get mental health practitioners or people who are almost like advisors that will tell you how to deep breathe. I'm sure that you probably can even go on platforms, even something as simple as YouTube, find someone that will teach you how to de-stress through different breathing techniques. Yes, breathing helps to relieve stress, and the body responds to that. Your own body knows how to respond to it based on the way that you're breathing. So, yes, pick up those ideas. Yes, that is correct answer to that part of the quiz, and do incorporate deep breathing or some breathing that will help you de-stress.
Thank you. One more question. What does ACES 7 from first slide mean? Esther is asking.
That should have been ADCES, a diabetes care and education specialist. It should say ADCES, a diabetes care and education specialist. That's a category of people who have, a lot of them are healthcare providers and also social workers. Pharmacists are in there. Endocrinologists, there are physicians that are part of this organization. And a diabetes care and education specialist, we have a little bit of a convention as well per year. And a lot of times it's about reviewing all of the technologies, all of the evidence-based nuances of the medicines, different educational activities, such as even having exercise physiologists come in and talk to us about how to help people manage their diabetes. And then what we do is we transfer that information right on to you. But it's a diabetes care and education specialist. It's a category of people who have taken an exam and now they are out here trying to help people get better in managing their diabetes.
Thank you. Um, Dr. M said she did not hear the answer to the first question. Can you please answer?
Okay,
Yeah.
deep breathing, which was the answer
No,
to
no,
the quiz.
it was the CGM. Do you recommend having a CGM?
That's the answer is yes. And I gave a lot of reasons why. The answer is yes, first. And the reason being that you can monitor your success in managing your diabetes in real time. The CGM, or what we call a continuous glucose monitor or meter, continually in real time is telling you where your blood sugar is right now. Now, your blood sugar is constantly changing. but it changes significantly when you have a meal. It changes when you miss a meal. It changes when you're exercising. So all of those things, it changes when you miss taking your medication, if it's one of those blood sugar lowering medications. And so all of that information from a CGM will tell you patterns of behavior that you may need to change what you're doing. In other words, don't miss your medicines. In other words, watch how much you consume per meal. And maybe it may be telling you that you need to portion control a little bit more. Maybe it's telling you that you have too much in this meal, you're going out of the range. So it can tell you a lot of information, and it's a way of tracking patterns. Here's a question: as I was diabetic earlier, but I actually was able to control it through lifestyle modification. And that is true, Dr. M. Not lifestyle modification, your doctor will be the first to tell you when you're in pre-diabetes, you can go ahead and change. And one of those things being, they maybe even put you on maybe something as simple as metformin, or they may leave you off medication and just tell you diet, meaning putting the right stuff on your plate, and some exercise will be enough to keep you from becoming a type 2 diabetic. The same thing for me. I go out and I that's why I'm trying to suppress those numbers to keep from being diagnosed diabetic. You can do that through lifestyle modification. I conduct the NDPP myself at a clinic. We should connect. Okay. 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 They know where you get in touch with Diabetes Associates of Atlanta, and they can give you by email and everything. Dr. M, we can connect like that. And that's diabetes prevention program, I would assume. National Diabetes Prevention Program, NDPP. Lost connection again. Oh no, somebody lost connection.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
Dr. M. She
oh,
said
okay.
happy holidays, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay. Well, we have reached our 1 hour mark. I do want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. Thank you for being flexible. It was nice hearing your questions and inputs. Gerald, if you have anything to say, you
okay.
can go ahead.
Once again, just the whole thing was about navigating the holidays, and it can be stressful. Use some of the tools that you already have, as even deep breathing, and de-stress during these holidays. And at the same time, please enjoy the family. Stress can come from the joys of it, and also some of the stressful pains of even in the preparation of the meal, and sometimes interacting with sometimes it with family. Try to keep yourself under a kind of an idea that it's going to be all right, and this is the holidays and I'm going to enjoy them. Start with that. This is the holidays, I'm going to enjoy them. I will not despair because of it. And
Yeah.
that being said, Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you in the upcoming year. Just keep an eye out on those emails and social media. Uh, yeah, and if you were a past participant for our DSMES classes, please check your emails. I sent a survey for our past CSMES participants. Other than that, everyone enjoy your day. Happy holidays. And this video will be up maybe tomorrow or this week. So, yeah, we'll see you all in the next year.
Okay. Thank you,
Bye,
Ashley.
everyone.
All right. Bye.